Hello, and welcome back to Reading Across Time Zones. I'm Yolanda,
And I'm Savannah.
and we're so happy to have you guys join us again. In this episode, we will be diving into book number, God, what is it, Savannah? Five? Four. We're not even at five yet, of the Throne of Glass series. It's one of the two books that we've read together this month, and we're really excited to dive into it. So let's do it. Heir of Fire, book four. Well, book three, but we read
Technically.
it. Yeah, we read Assassin's Blade first, so book four for us. A little description is Celaena Sardothien travels to a new land to confront truths about her heritage while preparing to battle monstrous forces threatening to enslave her world. I did not give it a rating. I decided to be like Savannah and just wait until the whole series to really like wrap it up and give you like a final rating. So I have no rating for this one, and I assume Savannah doesn't either.
Correct.
Now, what did you think, Savannah, since you had such horrible feelings about Crown of Midnight? Did this redeem itself just a little bit for you?
Yes. So I will say this one was better for me. I really enjoyed I guess it's kind of been the same for the last couple of books. We've been, bouncing from perspective to perspective. But I really enjoyed in this one getting to meet the new characters that I have been very highly anticipating. And just kinda getting to see, like, more of the Fae realm and, more of the action that we have been waiting for. So I will say this one was slightly better than the last book for me.
Yeah, I think this book, it was so funny because I had just started the book when you had asked, like, where's Manon or Manon, however you say it. And I was like, I don't know who these people are. What are you talking about? And then boom, it goes into Manon, and I'm like, ah, okay. So I really did enjoy seeing like those witches and their backstory and more characters, like you said. So it's also it's I know it's your favorite. It's not my favorite yet. I'm just enjoying it. I'm just kind of waiting to see where this amazing Celaena is. So I'm just holding out my opinions on who my favorite is.
I'm with you, buddy. So far, Selena is at the bottom of my totem pole. I did really enjoy finally getting to, like, her full account and her full memories of, sort of her origin story, we'll call it, when her parents were murdered, finding out a little bit more about, like, what happened, why she repressed so much, and so that was very interesting, I will say that, but, yeah.
Yeah, I like seeing who that milkmaid was and how meaningful she was. I know that when we were talking about our opinions on this book that you had said like, she's so stuck on Nehemia and her death and like that was the force driving her. And I can understand that because I guess why Nehemia? Like I know you guys were besties and I know you like got to know each other, but she really took that death really hard, and it could just be because, well, obviously it's attached to the way that Sam was killed too, right? But like I told you, I think now she finally found that memory of the milkmaid being murdered, and I'm like hopeful that maybe that will be more like her reason, but more of like a not that Nehemia's not worth the reason for the drive to be the way that she is, but I think it makes more sense into like her background, like you said. So
Yeah. I see, I guess, upon reflection, I see now that, like, Nehemia was kinda just the straw that broke the camel's back, and so, that was just the last one on the top of all of these other murders that she has experienced throughout her life in such similar ways, and so again, I really liked exploring that more. I'm just ready for the girl who loved her kingdom and not the girl who just loved Nehemia, because Nehemia was very lovable, but she also really frustrated me too, so
yeah, I agree. I think I feel like we're both at a place where we're kind of just over all this background and all this past and all this what's gonna happen? Let's just move forward. And I feel like, the book has moved forward so slowly for us. And I know we haven't finished the series yet, so I don't think we can fully form an opinion, but I think, and I'm really happy that we read Assassin's Blade first because I think we would have clawed our eyes out if we had to have read it third. Um, just because we're already really struggling to get through the series as it is. Um,
I
we,
absolutely agree.
yeah.
Just for me personally, like, if it wasn't for those little Easter eggs, I would have been like, "Yolanda, I can't do it anymore. I'm DNFing this series." But just with the knowledge that I had before even going into this, right, just from people, saying, "Oh my gosh, Celaena's such a badass," and, um, just knowing a little bit of what people post about, but then also having those little Easter eggs from the first book. Like, even, okay, so at the end of this one, I'm also like, oh yeah, buddy, now not only is the healer coming back, but I know we're going to have an Ansel reunion. So,
Who?
but-
Sorry.
okay, y'all, when Yolanda reads something, as soon as that book closes, so does her brain. It's gone.
It's
Ansel
so bad.
Ansel was the one from the desert, her friend who betrayed her. So, I think that Ansel is now this redheaded queen of the wastes.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, this is why, as much as you want to stop this series, we can't. Let's just get it over with. Let's just,
Yeah.
get it done because otherwise I think we really will pull our hair out at this point. And it's not I don't think the series is bad. It's just I don't know. I think Savannah and I's brains are like we can go in the past, so it's not that we can't have things like that, but it's just not moving fast enough for us. And it kind of makes me worried on future series that I'm going to read. Like, will I be able to do it? But I don't
This
know.
is
I'm just
also
reading.
this is also the longest series that I have attempted since, like, a series of unfortunate events when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So, for me, especially, it's been a little difficult just, like, looking at the books, and in my mind, I'm like, "Oh god, that's just so much to read." I prefer a standalone, period. You do enjoy a series, I'd rather just tell me the story and let's move on.
Yeah.
But
And I think it's really hard because it's such a popular series, so you're constantly and all the time seeing all these like theories and, things about it. And so I think you're just ready to find out what these people are talking about. So I think you just have a little bit of impatience because of that, but
oh, I definitely do. I'm very impatient in
very
general.
much. Yeah. Going back to forgetting everything that I've read, we have decided that it's probably best that as soon as we finish something, we need to record it. Otherwise, I mean, I had to really sit here and think, what happened in this book? Because when Savannah brings it up, I'm like, ah, yes, that's right. But as I'm trying to think about it, I'm like, okay, skinwalkers, a sword. She yelled at that poor little boy. And she burned out, and, like, it's horrible, it's really bad. It goes back to brain rot. I will say it really and again, I know she's only, like, 18, it's character development, but she really pissed me off being so mad at that poor, sweet old man and this
I
young girl in his
know.
kitchen. It broke my heart because 'cause I'm like, you know they don't deserve that, and you still
Yes.
choose to do this. Girl, just bite your tongue, walk away. But she had to take it out, and I'm like, ugh. And for a man, at the end of the day. But anyways, I do really like Manon. I do really love that I feel like even though she doesn't have a heart, that she's probably gonna find that she does have a heart for Abraxas because hello, like, that's her baby. So, I'm really excited to find out where that goes. Um, I did truly enjoy the Skinwalkers. I think that was the most, like, I think it was more like horror, and I was like, "Oh, this is so cool. Yes, creepy. I wanna know more about it." So, those were things that really kept me going. Towards the end of the book, while you were on your cruise, I was, like, super into it. I mean, I was like, "Oh my god, this is getting so good. I'm finding about this sword, and she's burning out, and then those 3 princes or whatever they were that you said." Um, I enjoyed it. I'm ready to just go on to the next book and see what's gonna happen. I
Yes.
think
I did suspect in the last book that, he was creating the wyverns, so I did feel incredibly justified to know that that was what was going on, and then, like, actually, yeah, getting to see, the witches get to choose their mounts, and yeah, when it got, like, down to the skinwalkers, down to the Valg princes, I was like, "Yeah, let's get to the war."
I did like the fact that we knew what the spider silk was, so we knew what she was gonna go find those spiders for. So it's really nice to be able to, like, be have those aha moments.
Mhm.
Um, Savannah had to tell me what a wyvern looked like. We had a whole anatomy lesson on it. Uh, on wyverns versus dragons versus what was that other little tiny one? Drakes?
Yeah, drakes.
Drakes. Yeah. So that was a good anatomy lesson. I think the only note apparently I was starting to write notes and then didn't finish except for one thing. I put that my question, my thought process, that blackness in the burrows, I don't even know what the burrows were was is at this point, so I don't even know. Could it be ataxia? Oh, I know what she's talking about. So this doesn't even make sense. I had asked, could it be ataxia or that thing that was under the library in Valaris or a form of it? It reminded me of it when I was reading it, but
Mhm.
obviously towards the end of the book, I found out that it was princess. I don't
Yeah.
know. It was something, but it wasn't
Mhm.
that. So,
That is an interesting connection though, because the darkness was very much described the same,
mhm.
especially, um, by Cassian, who was
Mhm.
so afraid of it in
Yeah.
ACOTAR.
Yeah, but it seemed though like that well, I guess when I thought about it some more and again, I just jotted this note down, like it just was a thought that passed. That darkness that Cassian described, I don't think it was harmful or scary. I think it just scared him
Yeah.
because it was dark, right? Because it never actually did anything, but kind of lure you in, but not. It was just because it was lonely. It just needed a window at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And this one though, this one was like, yes, I'm gonna take all your energy and yes. So
But that does lead still to a good point though, in that at the end of ACOTAR, I can't remember its name, but
yeah,
it was still missing,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
and the deal that it made with,
Farah.
Farah
Yeah.
was that it could stay out as long as the war was ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
Is it
Yeah.
gonna come fight in this war, maybe?
TBD, if we can even remember what the name of that thing was.
It's
I
just
I think it was
every
one of the prisoners, right? It was like the prisoner that showed her the little
n
boy.
no, 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 not the bone carver, the big monster blob thing, it had a name.
You know, I'm not gonna know.
I
We'll have to come
forgot.
back with that.
Yeah.
So anyways, overall glad to read it. Excited to go on to Crown of Midnight. What do you think, Savannah?
Yeah. I am, at this point, the most excited for the war, and for Manon to fly into the war, and for Celaena to go back and kill Arabin for what he
Yes,
did, for stealing her necklace and the
killing
key,
Sam.
and for killing Sam, and I'm ready for him to pay.
Die.
Yeah.
War. Violence. Revenge. Fire. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Trying not to imagine her as the Fantastic Four guy who's all fire. So, all right. So that was our thoughts on Heir of Fire. We're really excited to go on to
Queen of Shadows.
Queen of Shadows. Jesus. Something like that. It was something like that. All right. Savannah, did you want to tell us about one of the books that you read this month?
I suppose. So I also read I'll Get Back to You by Becca Grishow, I think is her name. Um it was okay. I gave it like a 3.5. It wasn't my favorite. I felt it's kinda similar to how I did in, the pink one.
I was about to say, you got it. What pink one?
The she's
Oh.
holding
Oh, Love in the Time of Serial Killers. Yeah.
Yes, okay, I just think that, throughout this book, the main character is like, "Everybody's mean to me and everybody treats me bad, and I want them to stop doing that." But then at the end of the day, she still let everybody continue to treat her bad. And so I felt like the story progressed, sure, and, eventually she got a little happy ending, but I just felt like she didn't really because she still didn't have her own choice, I guess. It
Mhm.
wasn't, you know, what she would have chosen maybe for herself. I don't know. It wasn't what I was expecting going into it, and I think it was my own expectations more than anything. Um, but it was okay. Not a
And
total loss.
for those of you that don't know, the I'll Get Back to You is about a charming holiday romance where two former classmates fake date to achieve their goals, but unexpected feelings arise, complicating their plans. I know when you first talked to me about it, you were like, it's not as romancy as I thought it was going to be. So that's a little disappointing. I do have that book as well, but typically, if you read something before me, depending on what the opinion is, because if it's just like your I didn't like the ending because it's not what I wanted it to happen, I'm gonna read it anyways. But when you read a book like this and you're like, you know, opinion, I'm probably not gonna read it either, I'll be so honest. I just I just take your word for, well, as they say in Mean Girls or whatever. So, is that Mean Girls? No. Oh my god. The other Mean Girls. The Kardashians. Jeez. It's been a long day. Um, so yeah, I'm sorry to hear that it wasn't what you thought it was gonna be.
That's okay. Like I said, it wasn't a total loss. I still enjoyed aspects of it. It was really just not what I not what I was in the mood for and
Mhm.
not what I thought it was gonna be. So, that was me, I think. But then also, she could have used a backbone.
Well, you gotta have a little bit of everything when it comes to these books, so, that is what it
That's
is.
true.
Alright, so the other book that we read together this month is Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. We had been looking forward to this book for since we found out it was coming out. And it's a ghost of Christmas past. Nolan Callahan haunts sweet Harriet York, like a the York patties. Oh my god. Um, Discovering unexpected connections in their past while exploring a magical holiday romance before Christmas Eve. And I said that because she's all peppermint all the time. Like he ended up like carrying peppermints for her and I bought peppermints because of her and I was like, "You know what? I need to like get in the feel of this peppermint while I'm reading it." So I bought a bag and I was just like munching on them. I'm like, I see it." So York Patty, you need to bring that up to BK when you see her. You can be like,
I'd be like, "Was
"You
this
get a York
intentional,
Patty?"
girl?"
Yeah. Okay. So I rated it a 4 out of 5. It was a decent book. It had me pretty well entertained. It had just a good amount of romance. It had like one or two scenes of spice, nothing too crazy, which for me, spice or no spice doesn't make a book. So, but there was a little bit. I like the whole writing of it's essentially like a rewriting of the Christmas thing, like the ghost. I really enjoyed that myself. It was pretty neat to see and just how they intertwined so beautifully. You know what? Props to BK.
Okay.
It did make me I did tear up. So, but that's just because I'm way too empathetic. I will cry if you cry, so I think that that's why, not because like the story was so but it
But
was
you don't often cry, I feel like, at the romances that we read, though.
That's true. That's mostly because I'm like, "Okay, girl. Serious, okay." No, I think I was crying, God, what part was it? Obviously, like, when he, met up with her aunt,
Yes.
like you said, when we found out that they were sharing a cat, and I was like I was like, "That's so sweet," because she was never truly alone because she's estranged from her family, and she was never truly alone because her aunt, who she loved so dearly and was like her mom to her, was there the whole time in this cat, who was also there for Nolan when he was lonely. And so that's, I think, where I started tearing up. And then when we find out, how he knew her, I don't want to like dive too much into it. I mean, if there's already spoilers, whatever. But I just think it was just wrapped up beautifully, honestly. So I did tear up. I didn't give it a 5 because it wasn't like I'm emotionally torn, but it was pretty solid. What'd you think?
I agree. So I think that the connections and, like, all of the little pieces that she wove in together, oh my gosh, I just felt like, that was done really, really well. Um, I gave it a 4 out of 5 because throughout, like, you know, 3/4 of the book, I was like, "Ugh, cringe, cringe, cringe," because physical touch is not even a love language that I consider a love language, right? I am not a touching person. Um, just don't touch me. Um, and so, like, the whole time, I just felt like they were so obsessed, and that's great. If that works for y'all, I love that for y'all. The whole time, I was like, "Oh my god, get off
Yeah,
of her." Um,
I know,
but
especially towards the end when they finally, like, had sex, I'm like, "Alright, you guys are annoying.
yeah.
Let's just get to the revelation now. Let's just
But
skip the
it
romance."
was very sweet. Um, I I loved, his boss, Isabella.
Yeah.
She was so, like, unintentionally, like, dryly funny. I thought that that was perfect.
I
Um,
think she would, like, make, like, the desserts appear as they're having, like, a as she can tell that he's probably, like, shaking in his boots, and she's just like, "Let me
right.
just this cupcake real quick," and he's just like, "Girl, did you just pull that out of your ass? Like, what what's going on here? Am I being punked?" Yeah.
Yes. Um, but yeah, I loved, getting to see Nolan and her aunt and, getting to see them interact about their bond with her at the end. I thought that that was really sweet too. And then I also really liked that she wasn't able to like fix things per se with her family. I think that that's not something that we often see, especially in romance, because everything in romance is packed up with a cute little bow. So I loved like the realistic portrayal of like her and her mom just not being able to see eye to eye and like they just don't have a relationship. Like they just can't make it work. And I think that's just how it is sometimes. But so I did really like that. And I am excited for the next book. I'm sure that Isabella didn't tell us about that missing reaper for nothing. So
Oh, yeah,
hopefully
absolutely.
hopefully the next book is a little bit more scary.
I'm looking forward to it. I do agree though with the family dynamics of it. I do like that it wasn't, like you said, most romances, they'll kind of be tied up in that pretty bow with rosy pink glasses and everything's going to be nice and happily ever after. And it's just not like that realistically. I do love that she did stand up for herself though. And she had Nolan there to support her. And yeah, I mean, not everybody can have a good relationship with her family, but it all boils down to her not being alone at the end of the day. It's
Yeah.
probably not who she thought it was going to be, like her family, but you still have family amongst your chosen family and people who you choose to
Mhm.
spend time with. So, beautiful story. I recommend. Really excited for the Reaper. Isabella reminds me of that little short lady from The Incredibles. Just like Amryn in ACOTAR. I
Mhm.
just automatically go to that little lady when they say short black hair and glasses.
Mhm.
That's who it is in my eyes. So definitely recommend. Any other thoughts you want to include?
Nope. I think that was everything.
Perfect. Well, Savannah, do you want to tell us about the next book that you read, The Gingerbread Bakery by Laurie Gilmore? It's Annie
Yes.
Andrews, a bakery owner, spars with bar owner Max Sullivan until they're thrown together for a wedding, leading to romance in this cozy, sensual, small town story. It is book 5 of 6 of the Dream Harbor series. You're almost done. What'd you think?
I have been waiting since book 1. Okay, so originally, right, we thought that this was gonna be the last book in the series.
Mhm.
But because of, the popularity and the demand, she decided to add an additional book. And so I have just from the very beginning been like, "Oh yeah, something's going on with those 2 over there. What's that about?" And so I loved getting to, kinda see why Annie has so much resentment towards Mac, and I won't say too much because you still have a good ways to go in that series. But I will say their story was probably my favorite so far. Um, I really enjoyed theirs, and I think that even if she had not written the 6th book that's coming out, in 2026, I think that that would have been an amazing wrap to the series. But I'm so excited that we get more.
Yeah, when I was writing down the description of it, I was like, yes, I also recall, like she said, just from book 1, you can see that kind of like tension between both of them, but it's that kind of tension that you really like. So I'm really excited to read it. I have, I think, 2 books in between I haven't read. So I'm curious to know whose wedding they're going to. But I'm glad that you liked it, and maybe I'll read them all this year. I make no promises.
You can do it.
But anyways, so those are the books that we read this month. Not too many. I didn't read any other books besides the one that I had to. I was on vacation. I tried. It just didn't happen, and then I got into a funk. So, but we're glad to have been able to share some of our books that we read here in December. We look forward to talking to you guys next time. Queen of Shadows, right? Okay.
Mhm.
I keep getting the titles mixed up. So we'll be talking to you guys next time. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.